What kind of person shatters a stranger's car window in broad daylight over a parking spot? The Publix parking lot in Coral Springs was a battlefield that humid August evening, the air thick with the kind of tension that makes your skin crawl. Karen Hargrove, a woman whose name was synonymous with complaints in this small Florida town, stood at the center of it all. Her face, flushed with indignation, was a mask of entitlement as she clutched her oversized purse like a weapon. The sleek black Jaguar parked beside her rusted minivan bore the brunt of her rage, its driver's side window now a spiderweb of cracks glinting under the streetlights. Karen wasn't just angry, she was a force of nature, a hurricane of self-righteous fury that left onlookers stunned. It started with a parking spot. Not just any spot, but the one closest to the store entrance, the one Karen had claimed as her birthright despite the faded blue lines marking it for handicapped drivers. She'd pulled in, her minivan crooked across 2 spaces, and waddled into Publix to demand her usual free coffee sample. When she returned, the Jaguar was there, parked neatly in the adjacent spot, its glossy exterior a silent rebuke to her carelessness. The driver, a young woman named Mia Torres, had just finished loading her groceries and was buckling her toddler into the back seat. Karen didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. In her mind, the world bent to her will, and this car was an insult. Mia, a single mother who'd saved for years to buy that Jaguar, didn't see it coming. She was humming a lullaby to her son, Liam, when the first thud echoed through the lot. Her heart stopped as she turned to see Karen, all 300 pounds of her, slamming her purse against the window. "You stole my spot," Karen shrieked, her voice a grating mix of venom and righteousness. Mia's jaw dropped. She'd parked legally, checked the lines twice, and even left extra space for Karen's poorly parked van. But Karen wasn't interested in facts. She swung again, and the glass cracked, a sound like a gunshot in the quiet lot. A teenage cashier, Ethan, paused mid-stride, his green apron flapping as he pushed a cart. He'd seen Karen before. Her tirades over expired coupons were legendary, but this was new. An elderly man, Mr. Goldstein, clutched his grocery bag, his eyes wide with disbelief. Mia, trembling but fierce, yanked out her phone and started recording. "What are you doing?" she shouted, her voice shaking with a mix of fear and fury. Karen didn't flinch. "You'll learn to respect me," she spat, raising her purse for another blow. The window shattered, glass raining onto the asphalt. Ethan sprinted back to the store, yelling for the manager. Mr. Goldstein, a retired veteran, stepped forward, his voice steady despite his age. "Ma'am, you need to stop this now." Karen rounded on him, her face twisting into a sneer. "Mind your own business, old man," she snapped, jabbing a finger at him. Mia's hands shook as she filmed, her toddler crying in the back seat. The video captured every detail. Karen's smug expression, the glint of her gaudy rings, the sheer audacity of her attack. It was a moment that would change everything. Inside the store, Ethan reached the manager, Ms. Patel, a no-nonsense woman who'd dealt with Karen's complaints for years. She grabbed the security footage feed on her office monitor, watching in real time as Karen's tantrum unfolded. The camera above the lot caught every angle: the purse, the glass, the rage. Ms. Patel's jaw tightened. She'd had enough. She called the police, her voice calm but firm. "We have an assault in progress. Suspect is damaging a vehicle in the parking lot. We have it on tape." Outside, Mia's heart pounded as she tried to stay calm for Liam. She didn't know Karen, had never met her, but she knew this wasn't about a parking spot. It was about power, about Karen's need to dominate anyone who dared exist in her orbit. The twist came when Mia noticed something glinting in Karen's purse as she swung at a set of keys. Not hers, but ones that looked eerily familiar. They were Mia's, dropped in the cart corral earlier that day. Karen hadn't just targeted her car out of spite. She'd planned this, picking up the keys to ensure Mia couldn't drive away before her outburst. The realization hit Mia like a punch. This wasn't random. Karen had seen her, a young Latina woman with a nice car, and decided she didn't belong. The keys were a calculated move to trap Mia in this confrontation. Mia's voice rose, steady now, as she held up her phone. "You took my keys, didn't you?" she demanded. Karen's eyes flickered, a split second of guilt before her sneer returned. "You don't deserve that car," she hissed, confirming everything. The police sirens wailed in the distance, cutting through the humid air. Karen froze, her purse still raised, as if realizing for the first time that her actions had consequences. Ethan reappeared with Ms. Patel, who stood with her arms crossed, her expression unyielding. Mr. Goldstein shook his head, muttering about respect. Mia kept filming, her hands steadier now, capturing the moment Karen's bravado began to crack. The footage was undeniable, a digital noose tightening around Karen's neck. The police arrived in 2 squad cars, their lights painting the Publix lot in red and blue. Officer Ramirez, a seasoned cop with a no-nonsense demeanor, stepped out first, his eyes scanning the scene. Karen's purse dropped to her side, but her face still held that defiant smirk, as if she could talk her way out of this. Mia's heart raced, but she stood her ground, her phone still recording. Liam's cries had softened to whimpers, and she whispered to him, "It's okay, baby, we're okay." But she wasn't sure. Not yet. Ramirez approached, his gaze locking onto Karen. "Ma'am, step away from the vehicle," he said, his voice calm but edged with authority. Karen scoffed, tossing her hair back. "This woman stole my spot. I was defending my rights." Her voice was a mix of indignation and entitlement, as if the law itself should bend to her version of justice. Mia's hands trembled as she handed her phone to Ramirez. The video paused on Karen's face mid-swing. "She took my keys, too," Mia said, pointing to the purse. "Check it. They're mine." Ramirez's partner, Officer Chun, retrieved the keys from Karen's purse. They matched Mia's description perfectly, her initials etched on the keychain, a gift from her late mother. The crowd, now growing with curious shoppers, murmured in disbelief. Karen's smirk faltered, but she doubled down. "She dropped them. I was just holding them." Her lie was flimsy, unraveling under the weight of the evidence. Ramirez watched the footage, his expression darkening. "You're on camera vandalizing private property," he said. "And now theft? Ma'am, turn around." Karen's face twisted into a mask of outrage. "You can't arrest me. I know the mayor," she bellowed, her voice echoing across the lot. But Ramirez wasn't swayed. He'd seen her type before, people who thought their loudness made them untouchable. As he cuffed her, Karen's bravado crumbled into a stream of excuses, each more desperate than the last. "This is discrimination. I'm a victim here." The crowd wasn't buying it. Ethan, standing by Ms. Patel, whispered, "She's done this before, hasn't she?" Ms. Patel nodded grimly. "Too many times." The twist deepened when Ms. Patel pulled Mia aside, her voice low. "Karen's been banned from this store twice before for harassing customers. We have a file on her complaints, threats, even spitting at a cashier once. This isn't her first rodeo." Mia's stomach churned. The keys weren't just a petty theft. They were part of a pattern, a calculated act by a woman who thrived on intimidation. Mia glanced at Liam, still strapped in his car seat, and felt a surge of resolve. She wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for everyone Karen had ever bullied. Ramirez took Karen's statement, but her story fell apart under scrutiny. She claimed Mia had provoked her by parking too close, but the security footage showed the Jaguar perfectly within the lines. She insisted the keys were a coincidence, but Mia's initials on the keychain told a different story. The crowd watched as Karen was led to the squad car, her shouts muffled by the closing door. Mia's phone, now in Chen's hands, was bagged as evidence, its footage a damning record of Karen's meltdown. Back at the station, the truth began to surface. Karen wasn't just a loudmouth. She had a history, complaints from neighbors, unpaid fines, even a restraining order from a former coworker she'd harassed. The Publix incident was the tipping point, a public spectacle that exposed her for what she was. A bully who'd skated by on bluster for too long. Mia, meanwhile, was interviewed by Chen, who listened with quiet empathy as she recounted the fear and anger of those moments. "I just wanted to get my son home," Mia said, her voice breaking. Chun nodded, jotting down notes. You did the right thing filming it. This'll hold up in court. By the next morning, the video had spread online, shared by Ethan on social media with the caption, Karen versus Jaguar at Publix, who lost? The post went viral, racking up thousands of views. Comments poured in, most condemning Karen, others praising Mia's courage. A local news outlet picked up the story, interviewing Mr. Goldstein, who called Karen's behavior a disgrace to our community. Mia didn't want the attention, but she couldn't deny the relief of being believed. The footage was her shield, the truth her weapon. But Karen wasn't done. From her holding cell, she called her sister, a paralegal with a knack for bending the truth. Together, they crafted a counter-narrative. Mia had provoked her. The keys were a misunderstanding. The damage was accidental. Karen's sister contacted a lawyer, claiming defamation and demanding the video be taken down. It was a desperate move, one that only fueled the public's outrage. Mia, exhausted but resolute, refused to back down. She had the footage, the witnesses, and the truth on her side. As the legal battle loomed, Mia found unexpected allies. Ms. Patel offered to testify, pulling records of Karen's past incidents at Publix. Ethan started a crowdfunding page to help Mia repair her car, raising enough in days to cover the deductible. Even Mr. Goldstein, who'd seen too many injustices in his life, wrote a letter to the local paper, calling for accountability. The community was rallying, not just against Karen, but for something bigger. Justice, fairness, the right to exist without fear of someone like her. The courtroom was small but packed, the air heavy with anticipation. Karen sat at the defendant's table, her face a mix of defiance and desperation, her lawyer whispering strategies that sounded more like excuses. Mia sat across the room, her hands clasped tightly, Liam's toy car in her pocket for courage. The judge, a stern woman with a reputation for fairness, reviewed the evidence. The security footage, Mia's video, the keys, the witness statements. Karen's lawyer argued she'd acted in momentary distress, but the footage told a different story. Each frame showed Karen's deliberate swings, her venomous words, her utter lack of remorse. The confrontation peaked when Mia took the stand. Her voice was steady, though her hands shook. She described the fear, the violation, the moment she realized Karen had her keys. She didn't just want to damage my car, Mia said, her eyes locking onto Karen's. She wanted to make me feel small. The room was silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Karen shifted uncomfortably, her smirk gone, replaced by a nervous twitch. The judge's gaze was piercing, her pen pausing as she listened. Ms. Patel testified next, her voice calm but unyielding. She listed Karen's history at Publix's documented incidents, from berating employees to threatening other customers. Ethan spoke, too, his teenage nerves giving way to quiet conviction. She scared everyone that day, he said, but Mia stood up to her. Mr. Goldstein's testimony was the final blow, his weathered voice carrying the moral weight of a lifetime. I've seen bullies like her before, he said. They thrive until someone says enough. Karen's defense crumbled. Her lawyer's claims of accidental damage were laughed off when the footage showed her swinging 3 times. The stolen keys were the nail in the coffin. Petty theft, vandalism, and harassment charges piled up. Karen took the stand, her voice shrill as she tried to spin the narrative. I was stressed. I didn't mean it. But the judge wasn't swayed. The evidence was ironclad, the community's outrage palpable. The downfall came swiftly. The judge sentenced Karen to 6 months in jail, a year of probation, and ordered her to pay restitution for Mia's car $4,000 for the window and emotional damages. Karen's face crumpled as the gavel fell, her sister's promises of a quick appeal fading into the background. The courtroom erupted in murmurs, a mix of relief and vindication. Mia exhaled, tears stinging her eyes. It wasn't just about the car anymore. It was about standing up, about refusing to let someone like Karen win. Outside the courthouse, the community waited. Ethan had organized a small gathering, holding a sign that read, "Justice for Mia." Ms. Patel handed Mia a new keychain, a small gesture from the public staff. Mr. Goldstein shook her hand, his eyes crinkling with pride. "You reminded us what courage looks like," he said. Mia smiled, clutching Liam's toy car, feeling the weight of the past week's lift. The story didn't end with Karen's sentence. The viral video sparked a broader conversation, not just in Coral Springs but across the country. People shared their own Karen stories. Tales of entitlement met with accountability. Mia, reluctant at first, agreed to a local news interview, not for fame but to inspire others. "Don't let them make you feel small," she said, her voice steady now. "The truth is stronger than their noise." Karen, meanwhile, faced more than jail time. Her sister's law firm dropped her as a client, unwilling to be associated with the scandal. Neighbors who'd once tolerated her complaints now shunned her. The Publix ban became permanent, a small but symbolic victory for the community. Karen's name became a cautionary tale, a reminder that actions have consequences, even for those who think they're above them. Mia used the crowdfunding money to fix her car, but she donated the rest to a local women's shelter, a place that had helped her years ago. She started a blog, not about Karen, but about resilience, about finding strength in the face of cruelty. It wasn't easy some nights. She still saw Karen's face in her dreams, the purse raised, the glass shattering. But she also saw Ethan's courage, Ms. Patel's resolve, Mr. Goldstein's wisdom. She saw a community that stood with her. The Publix lot, once a battlefield, became a place of quiet triumph. Mia parked there again, this time without fear, her Jaguar gleaming under the sun. Liam giggled in the back seat, unaware of the storm they'd weathered. As Mia loaded her groceries, she glanced at the spot where it all happened. The asphalt was clean now, no trace of glass or rage. Just a grocery receipt, caught in the breeze, with a headline that faded but never disappeared. Karen's rage caught on camera. It was a reminder, not of the fight, but of the victory of a world where truth could still win.